Welcome. Following a beautifully planned coaching cycle that's informed by research-based practices with tangible evidence of my success doesn't mean a thing if the teachers that I'm coaching never actually see me as a coach that can help me get better. But they either only see me as a friendly mentor with suggestions, or they see me as a scary administrator who's there to judge them. When teachers get feedback from a friendly mentor, they see it as a suggestion that would be cool to try, but doesn't really warrant any immediate action. And so they're really unlikely to do that thing at a high level, to do it consistently, or to do it independently. And when they get feedback from a scary administrator, they see it as judgment or a personal attack. So they might do the thing when they hear you coming down the hall, but that level of inconsistency doesn't improve student outcomes. And sometimes it does the exact opposite. Hi, I'm Chanel Beckley, a school leadership consultant, and that's why in this video, I'm going to teach you how to become an instructional coach who actually gets results, who isn't seen as just a friendly mentor or just a scary, strict administrator, but who is actually respected as an expert and trusted among staff. And what you'll learn will save you from the disappointment of setting goals to increase achievement or improve teacher practice, but by the end of the year, not even being close to meeting those goals. I'm also going to share with you the exact process that I use when I train instructional coaches, and it has taken student achievement scores that have been stagnant for years to a 20% increase after just 1 year. And I'll share with you an opportunity to learn how to implement this entire process in as quickly as 2 weeks so that you can improve your school sustainably all year long. So let's get into it. When they don't have examples to see that your suggestion, your vision is possible, you'll find yourself giving the same feedback over and over again. And without teachers' trust, you will experience work as this dreadful and exhausting place that you cannot wait to leave every day. And you, upset, frustrated, and annoyed for most of your day, is good for no one. And this is not the kind of environment that you can drive results in. A school leader who doesn't have the belief and trust from their teachers undersupports their teachers. And undersupported teachers don't collaborate effectively. They don't learn new skills regularly. And that kind of learning environment is not good for kids. Students' achievement will not grow, will not improve under these conditions. And so what do you do about that? Listen, if you do exactly what I teach you in this video, you will position yourself as an instructional coach who makes classrooms feel more like home, who helps students and teachers get excited about growth and achievement. And you'll actually have the time, energy, and motivation to coordinate those fun family events that you keep wishing you had time to make happen. So let's talk about the single most important starting place for large-scale improvement. It's called rapid cycle design. Rapid cycle design is a strategy based in improvement science that turns a change idea into action. And leaders who use this design effectively need to identify an aim, state the change, choose the process, clarify the measures, and then consider the dissemination plan. Now, this 5-step process might seem simple enough. And let me share with you some of the results that this process has led to. Using this process, the Stantway and Quantway math programs went from 5% of students achieving a math college credit after being assigned to remedial math courses to 50% of those students achieving a math college credit within just 1 year. With using this process within just 1 school year, I was able to increase the percent of students who scored proficient on the New York State test by 20%. In a Mississippi school that I coached and supported, within 1 year was able to increase the average RIT score on the NWEA math assessment by 20 points. And in an Indiana school that I supported, within one testing cycle, they were able to increase interim assessment scores by 13% within one testing cycle. Now, in order to do any of this, to achieve any of these results, first, you need a really clear idea of the problem, and you need stakeholders that can help you better identify and describe the problem. Now that you know the number one principle for improving schools, and you're clear on the critical strategy that will help you design this cycle really effectively, I want to share one final secret with you. The number one reason most schools fail, even when they have an instructional coach. The number one thing that holds most instructional coaches back from actually scaling and sustaining improvement is a launch that is too big to manage. Let me show you what I mean. In 2001, the senior program officer of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation studied the success of small high schools and compared that success with the vast majority of high schools in the United States. And these smaller high schools had higher student attendance, higher graduation rates, increased parent and community engagement, staff satisfaction was high. I mean, the benefits seemed endless. And research at that time also showed that smaller schools like these really particularly benefited socially and economically disadvantaged students in urban cities. And so it seemed like a no-brainer. This led to the smaller high schools reform. The Gates Foundation turned this idea into action quickly by spending about $2 billion on dissolving large high schools into smaller ones. This change happened so rapidly that within a few short years, across 45 states, there were now 2,600 new small schools. Suddenly, urban educators who were not prepared to do so in less than a year had to found new schools, transform dysfunctional systems into ones that worked, and teacher satisfaction dropped drastically. On top of that, school leaders now had to divide resources when they didn't have to before. And they spent more time dealing with all the new problems that arose from the reform than actually serving their students. And school safety, attendance, graduation, community engagement, all those benefits didn't actually happen. Those things didn't improve as expected. And as a matter of fact, in many cases, the opposite happened. And for some schools that dissolved, they even reversed that decision and went back to those larger models. Talk about taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And while this was happening, student achievement just continued to suffer. This change strategy was missing an opportunity to start small, fail manageably, and then improve rapidly in order to gain success. But it also led to what is now common practice for schools who have learned from this. Now, in most charter public schools, they begin as 1 to 2 grades, and they scale 1 grade a year, only having to recruit for that first grade. And by the time their first cohort of students has reached the end of their elementary progress, for instance, they've had 4 or 5 different cycles to rapidly improve success for their students. Okay, so what does this have to do with being an effective instructional coach? Well, instructional coaching is no different than any other change idea. As a matter of fact, almost immediately after the smaller schools reform, a lot of progress and success was seen in schools who had introduced this new role, the instructional coach. So now suddenly, districts around our nation found different ways to enforce this idea and expect assistant principals and principals to become instructional leaders, which had never really been expected before. And just like the smaller school reform, most schools did not and still do not experience success simply by adding instructional coaching or instructional leadership to the plate of principals or assistant principals. The rapid introduction of this role led and still leads to more problems that get in the way of the impact it was actually meant to have. There is a wide range of effectiveness. Many school leaders report higher rates of burnout and confusion about what to prioritize and when. Teachers often feel observed and judged more often than they feel supported and developed. And worst of all, student achievement remains largely stagnant despite this initiative. There were high hopes for this reform, but again, this is another example of how a change idea was missing an opportunity to start small, fail manageably, and then improve rapidly in order to actually see success. So the solution, the way to avoid this, is by not launching a huge, large-scale change idea when you're first trying something out. You need a more bite-sized approach to instructional coaching to make sure that when you implement your change idea, it doesn't fall flat. So now you are in a prime position to become an effective instructional coach. You know the number one reason most instructional coaches fail at their job. And so you're in a prime position to jump over that hurdle and not get knocked down by it. You're in a prime position to jump over that hurdle and not get knocked down by it. You're in a prime position to jump over that hurdle and not get knocked down by it. You're in a prime position to jump over that hurdle. The last promise I made you was that I wanted to share with you an opportunity to learn and implement the process you learned about in as quickly as 2 weeks so that you are set up to improve your school sustainably all year long. Now that you understand what you need to do and different ways you can get started, let me share with you this really quick and effective process that allows you to get your coaching cycle up and running and effective in just 2 weeks. With this process, you won't need to research and draft and plan for hours, days, or weeks that you already don't have. I've packaged for you an instructional leadership training program that is guided by rapid cycle design, avoids common mistakes that get in the way of school improvement, and that uses research-based methods with proven results to get your effective coaching practice up and running. I prioritize speed, focus, and results because you don't have time to waste. The program is designed to have you in classrooms coaching more effectively in as quickly as 3 days. And each part of the program focuses on one research-based proven skill that will develop your practice rapidly. Also, you'll learn how and what to measure as you coach to assess growth because you cannot effectively scale and improve what you cannot measure. Now, I've used this process to train school leaders in Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Mississippi, and Indiana. It has helped each of those schools achieve growth and tangible results for their students. And now I've packaged everything that we've learned and improved about that program for you too. 14-Day Instructional Coach is a self-directed online course with lessons that are under 10 minutes. Because they prioritize speed, focus, and results, think of these as mini lessons and guided practices that get you quickly planning and engaging in your own independent practice so that you can launch effective coaching cycles. You will receive so many value-packed modules as a part of the program. In Module 1, you are welcome to the course and get an overview of all the value-packed lessons you're going to engage in. In Module 2, you'll focus on coaching relationships that drive results. You'll have lessons on critical coaching partnerships, an overview of coaching meeting structures, as well as an introduction to your first kickoff coaching meeting. In the third module, you will learn and focus on how to improve lesson delivery. This module includes lessons on common pitfalls that instructional coaches fall into in classroom observations and how to avoid them. You'll also learn how to execute teacher coaching meetings that leverage both adult and children learning theories to improve results. In the fourth module, you're going to focus on student data collection and analysis. This includes lessons on adding student work analysis to your coaching cycle regularly and effectively, and how to set up collaborative leadership team meetings that position all school leaders as owners and drivers of data, so that they know how to position teachers as owners and drivers of data. And in Module 5, you will learn how to scale your practice. Like I said, one of the biggest pitfalls that instructional coaches experience is by biting off more than they can chew. But by following this program, you will start small, improve your practice, and the final step is you need to launch and grow more rapidly. So now, how do you coach more teachers? How do you add more classrooms to your schedule in a sustainable manner? And how do you use the things that you learn to create systems that allow you to replicate and not waste time? So now let's talk time and commitment. How much time will this take you every week to actually implement effectively? Well, in order to achieve maximum results, instructional coaches using this program should plan to be in the classroom for at least 2 30-minute observation times and have at least one 30-minute coaching meeting with their teacher every week. Additionally, you should plan to spend around 20 minutes a day reviewing the lessons and practicing the skills that come along with each lesson. Now, while your schedule for being in the classroom and being with your teacher will be dependent on your school schedule, you can engage in the program anywhere, anytime. Total, this will take you about 4 to 5 hours a week to execute on this instructional practice. Now, let's talk about who this program is for and who it's not for. This is created for principals and assistant principals, but if you are also simply a instructional coach and that is the only job that you have in a school, this program is for you too. It is also for new or novice instructional coaches, or for instructional coaches who had one practice in one school and now need to figure out how to adapt their practice to a new school. This is also for leaders who know and believe that they are responsible for the environment that they create in their school. When you hear the price of 14-day instructional coach, you are going to be amazed at how high the value is and how low the investment is that you are going to make in yourself and in your students. So you could buy the books, you could scour YouTube, you could piece together a program yourself, you could do the research, data collection, and data analysis that led to this plan. That would be over 100 hours of time that you don't have. And that's before you actually get to implement the plan and begin effectively instructional coaching and improving student outcomes for your students. Or you could work to hire a consultant or an external instructional coach. And depending on your state, this level of support and this length of support could run you anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 or even higher. Or you could invest in this program, become an effective instructional coach who makes classrooms feel like home, who inspires and motivates teachers, who improves student outcomes this year. You don't need a summer to plan and get your ducks in the row. You can do this now. The price of this program is only $350. I know. However, for early adopters, I'm including a 60% discount, and the price is actually only $140. However, it is for a limited time only. To maintain the integrity of the program, I will need to take the offer back to its full value at $350. To review, for just $140, you will receive the 14-day instructional coach self-directed learning program, and you will have lifetime access to those programs and all of the editable coaching materials that it comes with. Now, one of two ideas may be in your mind at this point. You may be thinking, this program is exactly what I've been waiting for, I've been looking for, I've been trying to create myself. I cannot wait to improve achievement at my school. And if that's you, that is excellent. I'm going to tell you in just a second how you can take advantage of my early adopter discount for the 14-day instructional coach. Now, the other thought you might be having is, well, I can figure this out on my own. But I want you to consider, how many hours do you have in your day to dedicate to creating a plan on your own, in addition to the hundreds of other tasks that you need to complete each day, each week, each month. And I also want you to consider, if you continue to do the same things over and over, you will not change the outcome just for you. You don't want to spend so much time figuring out how to create a vision, how to create the long-term goal, not getting into classrooms, not having the powerful meetings that you need to increase achievement, and ending another school year with student achievement stagnant with no tangible progress towards the long-term goals that you have set for your community. You don't want that anymore. So you now have a powerful choice to make. You can either continue to try and develop your teachers with one-off meetings, piecing together resources and practices, scouring your Google Drive for what you've done in the past, or you can skip that hassle. You can invest in yourself and in your practice by clicking the button below and joining the 14-day instructional coach program today. Before you spend another day frustrated with low achievement, exhausted by the mere thought of all the things you have to do and are responsible for, click the button below and learn the 14-day instructional coach process as soon as today.